Hello again, guys. This is a review of week 1, day 2, series 4, page 6 of the Countdown to Math Star. Okay, let's take a look at question 1. It says, Gabby drew the models below to represent 4 different decimal numbers. Which list shows these decimal numbers in order from greatest to least? Okay, so what I've done here is I've written a G for greatest, drawn an arrow over to an L for least. This is kind of a reminder that we want the greatest number to come first, not the least number. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to identify what these decimal numbers are. Okay, so starting at the top, okay, each one of these columns has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parts to it. Okay, so all together, if I count by tens, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 pieces all together. Okay, that's the total number of parts that make up the whole. Now to find how many are shaded, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72. Okay, so I have 72 pieces shaded out of 100. Okay, so this decimal would be 72 hundredths. Okay, and I'm just drawing these little tally marks here. It's kind of a physical way for me to keep track of how many I've counted already so I don't get mixed up. Okay, next one. Same model broken into 100 pieces. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77 pieces out of 100. So I have 77 hundredths. Okay. Next, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67 pieces out of 100 shaded, which makes 67 hundredths. Last, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 pieces out of 100, which represents 80 hundredths. Okay, and remember, I want them in order from greatest to least. Okay, so what we tell the kids to do is think of these decimal numbers as money. Okay, this would be 72 cents, 77 cents, 67 cents, and 80 cents. When we do that, it makes it easier for us to understand which one is the greatest because we really understand money very well. Okay, knowing that, I know that 80 cents is the greatest amount. So this is going to be number 1 in my list because I'm going greatest to least. Okay, well, if you look at your answer choices, there's only 2 answer choices that have that. Okay, I can eliminate A and C right away. Next, 77 cents would be the next greatest amount. Both B and D have those amounts. Next would be 72 cents. Answer choice B is the only one that has 72 cents next. Okay, last, that leaves us with 67 hundredths, which is answer choice B. Okay, all right, moving on to question number 2. Okay. Noah, Eric, and Kyle have $45 in all. Okay, those 2 little words, in all, are huge for this problem. That means that $45 is the total. And when I'm looking at a strip diagram, the total is the longest piece that you're going to see. Okay, so if I look at the answer choices, if I look at F, for example, here's the longest piece. That should be labeled with $45 because that is the total. That's the large amount. F does not show that. It shows 45 as one of the pieces that make up the total. That makes this incorrect. Okay. G does show $45 as the total. H shows $45 as the total. And J shows $45 as the total. Okay. So those 3 answer choices are good. Okay, so now let's read the next sentence. Noah has $10. Noah has 10. Eric has $10. So they both have the same amount. Okay, so when we're showing their amounts, the size of their pieces should be exactly the same because their values are the same. Okay, so if I look at answer choice G, look at those $10 pieces. They're different sizes. Okay, we know that can't be correct because $10 is $10. Okay, those sizes should not be different. Okay, so we can eliminate answer choice G. Okay, so now we're down to H and J. Both H and J have $10 as the same size pieces. Okay, but the $10 pieces in H are larger than the $10 pieces in J. Okay, we have to figure out which one of those is correct. And the way that we do that is we actually have to start solving it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use answer choice J as my model. Okay, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take those two $10 pieces and I'm going to combine them. Okay, we know that 10 plus 10 equals 20. Okay, so now to figure out what K is, I'm going to subtract 45 minus 20. We're going to take these pieces out. Whatever is left over has to be the value of K. And this is going to help us figure out which size pieces we need, whether we need these larger 10 size pieces or the smaller 10 size pieces. Okay, so when I subtract 45 minus 20, 5 minus 0 is 5, and 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, so that means that K has a value of 25. Okay, so now you can start to see that this piece needs to be bigger. Okay, these two pieces combined are less than what K is. So that tells us this answer choice cannot be right. Okay, we need K to be a bigger piece to accommodate that bigger value. That makes J our correct answer. Okay. Number 3. I am going to use an overlay to help us see this one. Okay. Stick another piece of paper under here to kind of block out the other stuff. All right. All right. Number 3 says, look at the points below, which 4 points, if connected with line segments, form a trapezoid. Okay, so we have to remember what a trapezoid is. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral that only has one pair of parallel sides. Okay, so the reason I put the overlay on here is so I can actually draw these figures. Okay, so I'm going to use answer choice A first. So they want me to connect point A to point B to point E to point F, and then I'm going to have to go back to A to connect it. Okay, doing that helps me to see this is not a trapezoid because this has 2 pairs of parallel sides. There's 1 pair and there's 2 pair of parallel sides. Okay, so I know that this one cannot be correct. So A is not my answer. My little emoji eraser. Okay, so A is not my answer. Okay, B, I'm going to connect A all the way over to C, and then down to D, over to F, and then I have to reconnect it to A. Okay, so now I can see again, this is not a trapezoid. We have a parallelogram here because we have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Okay, makes it a parallelogram, not a trapezoid. Okay, so B is not my answer. Okay, answer choice C. I'm going to connect A to B to D, all the way over to G, and then back up to A to connect it. Okay, now I can see this is a trapezoid because I only have 1 pair of parallel sides. Okay, if I were to continue these sides, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera, it's jiggling a little bit. They're going to intersect, so they are not parallel. This figure only has 1 pair of parallel sides, making it a trapezoid. But let's check answer choice D just to make sure. Okay. All right, D says point B over to C, down to D, over to E, and then connect it back up to B. Okay, again, we can see that's a parallelogram. It has two pair of parallel sides. So our answer for this one would be C. Okay. All right, number 4. Gracie is using a protractor to measure one of the angles of a triangle. Look at the diagram shown here. The triangle that Gracie is measuring can be classified as what kind of triangle? So when we classify triangles in 4th grade, we classify them by their largest angle. And that's what they're showing you on the protractor here. This is the largest angle right here, this angle right here, okay? So you don't even really need this right now. Sometimes that kind of confuses kids. So if I eliminate that, I'm looking at this angle right here, okay? So when I'm looking at that angle, I can see that this line segment is pointing to 0, and this one is pointing straight up to 90 degrees. That means that this angle right here is a right triangle. Okay, so even though in this triangle I have two smaller angles, two acute angles, my largest angle is a right angle. That makes this a right triangle. Okay, on to number 5. Okay, Elijah is taking care of an orphaned baby sheep, day and night. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there for a second. Day and night, that means we're talking about 24 hours. Okay, day and night means 24 hours. He must feed the sheep from a bottle every 4 hours. Okay, so that means 4 hours and then I feed. 4 hours and then I feed. That's 8. Another 4 hours and I feed. Okay, that's 4, 8, 12. And then another 4 hours, 16. Another 4 hours, you have 20. Another 4 hours, you have 24. Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what I've done there is I've taken 24 of those hours and I've divided them by 4, by groups of 4, which gives me 6 groups. Okay, now if I read further, it says, how many times will Elijah feed the baby sheep in 2 days? That's very, very important. Okay, we can't miss that in that question. Okay, so this answer is just for 1 day. Okay, I need this for 2 days. Okay, so I'm going to take that 6 and I'm going to multiply it times 2, which gives me a total of 12 times. Okay, he has to feed the baby sheep 12 times in 2 days, which would be answer choice B. Okay, number 6. All right, Miss Aguilar will sculpt a clay model of a horse that is 27 meters tall. After she sculpts the clay model, she will sculpt a stone model that is 10 times taller. We know that the word times means to multiply. They want us to find out how tall the stone will be, how tall the stone model will be. Okay, so I'm going to take the height of the clay model, which is 27, and I'm going to just do what they told me to do, 10 times that. So I'm going to multiply 27 times 10. 27 times 10, all I have to do is box my 0, multiply 27 times 1. I'm just multiplying what's outside the 0. That's 27. And then I'm going to bring my 0 over. Okay, so the stone model is going to be 270 meters tall. Okay, number 7. Ramiro wrote some fractions and decimals on some index cards. Which two cards have the same value? Okay, so if I look at answer choice A, it's comparing card A to card B. Okay, so on this decimal, the 5, I'm going to label this with a TH. The first place after the decimal is the 10th place. The second place is the 100th place. Okay, so that tells me that this decimal is 5/100. So if I wrote that as a fraction, it would look like this. 5/100. Okay, card B doesn't show 5/100. It shows 5/10. Okay, so our answer cannot be A. B says card C and D. Card C is showing me 55/100. Card D is only showing me 5/100. Cannot be B. Answer choice C. Card B and card E. Card B shows 5/10. Card E shows 15/100. Okay, when you hear me say that, you can tell that those two amounts are not the same. Okay, so it can't be C. Now D says card A and card D. Okay, and I've already written this here for you. We converted this decimal into a fraction, and you can see that fraction matches this fraction. Okay, that means that answer choice D is the correct answer. All right, hopefully you did well, and tune in for our next video. Have a great day.